Hey there, welcome to the Uplift. We've got a great show for you today. Great cast of characters as well. Among them, these, a 20-year-old who helped rescue more than 100,000 people. Also, a piglet that fell off of a truck on the way to be fattened for slaughter. Yikes. It was rescued by PETA and an actor who has worked with pigs before. Any guesses on who that might be? Also, a mom fulfilling an adventurous childhood dream with a role at SpaceX. And a 7th grader who heroically saved his bus driver and a school bus full of other kiddos. There's a reason he was the one to jump into action. And finally, a man with Down syndrome who found a job that allows him to bring joy to others. All that and more inspiring stories. What are you watching? The Uplift. Hey there, you're you, I'm me, and this is The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. I would say 30 minutes or more. That is a guarantee, a baseline. And we're going to begin with this, a 20-year-old who's created a formula for helping people displaced during natural disasters and other crises. Here's Natasha Larno.
After tragic natural disasters, some people want to help, but don't know where to start. But after the earthquake in Syria and Turkey left millions homeless and freezing temperatures, 20-year-old Avi Schiffman decided to use his talents to help those in need. He created a website to help provide shelter to those who lost their homes.
It allows refugees to find housing instantly. In the past, you'd have to contact local government, embassies, etc., but they are usually overwhelmed. So the way it works is if there are people that have extra space in their homes, they can sign up and become a host family. And then refugees that have lost their home and now are displaced, they can go on this website and enter in where they are, where they're headed, see all these listings, and then get in contact with these host families, and then, hopefully find shelter.
Avi worked on TakeShelter.org with 4 other software engineers, and they did it in just 48 hours after the earthquake.
We don't have to worry about borders or geopolitics or anything like that. We're kind of like a digital Doctors Without Borders. That helps take the burden off local humanitarian organizations too and allow them to focus on the refugees that really need help.
This wasn't the first time Avi, who is currently taking a break from Harvard, used technology to help during a crisis. The Russian invasion of Ukraine caused the largest displacement of people in Europe since World War II, and Avi created a website that helped connect over 100,000 Ukrainian refugees with hosts around the world.
There was one family early on into the war in Ukraine, and they were hiding in their basement. It was not really a place to be living. They were just hiding there as Russian troops were invading the city. They contact local government, embassies, etc., trying to get in contact, trying to find shelter and a way to escape the country. They're all overwhelmed. There's no reply. But they were able to find and use UkraineTakesShelter.com to find a host that was able to help them come to France, escape the country, and stay in their extra holiday home. And then 3 days after this family arrived in France, their house back in Ukraine was destroyed by Russian bombs. And now generations and generations of their family will get to live on.
Avi's grandmother survived the Holocaust thanks to a family who secretly gave her shelter. So he says he knows how important it is to provide shelter to the vulnerable.
It's really cool to see how people will just take in refugees despite differing religions. It's been a really cool worldwide effort, really. It's everything from CEOs to just regular people with extra space on a couch somewhere.
Beautiful piece there, Natasha. Thank you very much. To our next story, which begins with a piglet falling off of a truck on the way to be fattened for slaughter, rescued by PETA and an actor who has worked with pigs before. Say what? Here's Christina Capatides with the story.
Just before Easter, a piglet on his way to be fattened for slaughter fell off the truck transporting him there. He was scraped and bruised, but he was rescued and taken to PETA, where he was nursed back to health. The piglet's story reached James Cromwell, who starred in the movie Babe 28 years ago. That Babe was about a pig who narrowly escaped his fate of becoming Christmas dinner when Farmer Hoggett took a liking to him and brought him instead to live on his farm with the other animals. Well, Cromwell, who played Farmer Hoggett, took a liking to this piglet too.
Wow,
So he named him Babe in honor of that famous pig who graced movie screens throughout the world, and helped transfer him to Chenoa Manor Animal Sanctuary in Pennsylvania, where he too can live out the rest of his days surrounded by animals. Now he forages and frolics in the grass, mingling with cows and ponies who were all rescued just like him. Many families celebrate Easter with a ham dinner, but Easter is really about resurrection. So how fitting that a pig once destined for Easter dinner was given a second chance at a beautiful life filled instead with peace and joy.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
A lot going on there. A wonderful story. Coming up, we take you to a unique commencement. The grads are not people, they are dogs. Plus, a man who found it difficult to find meaningful work and decided to create a business that allowed him to spread joy. Have you seen this one? It's a heartwarming video. It shows 4-year-old Tallulah giving a card to his mom, a card that brought tears to her eyes, and that reaction confused him a little bit.
Oh, you was crying? Why? Mom, your face is red. Oh, you're crying? That's funny. He got a bowl for you. He got a bowl for you. I made this for you, Mama. And that's a heart for you. Mama, you crying? Mama, why crying? Mommy.
Oh, happy birthday, Mom. She's crying, Tallulah, because it's so darn sweet. It's a beautiful one there. All right, our next video shows 6-year-old Faith in Ireland who has spina bifida and was surprised with her very first bike. And it's a bike she can pedal with her hands. Take a look.
What's that?
What is that?
What is that?
Is that an wheelchair?
No, what does it look like?
I don't know.
Does it look like a bike?
Yeah. I'm trying.
Did you get a bike?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yes.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah? You look so cute?
Yeah.
You try out?
Yeah.
Go.
Oh.
First. Push forward, yeah. Good game.
Hopped right on, knew exactly what to do. All right, how about one more heartwarming video? This one comes from mom Alyssa Holder, who posted about her son's morning routine, and that morning routine went viral. She says that her 6-year-old Ian likes to sip tea while reading a book after finishing his cereal at 6:30 a.m. Look at that posture, that poise, the popped collar. Many people online praised Ian for his wholesomeness and his calmness. And someone said, whose 55-year-old father is trapped inside that child? Very sweet, funny moment there. Well done, some great parenting. All right, it is graduation season, and we are going to take you to a different kind of commencement ceremony, one for dogs. Here's CBS Dallas's Olivia Leach.
There were no textbooks or final exams to pass ahead of this graduation ceremony, but these new grads are about to change lives.
I've been waiting. It seems like forever.
On Friday, 9 service dogs who spent over 2 years training with the Canine Companions program walked across the stage to begin their new lives with their new companions.
I can't believe they actually give the dogs away or for free.
Alex Mercy from Cleburne was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2015.
It just progressed real rapid.
He's waited for this day for over 2 years, and now it's here, the day he finally gets to go home with his service dog, Nilla.
Words can't describe the feeling to actually go home with Nilla.
These pups have been raised and trained by volunteers to open doors, pick up items, and comfort their companions in an emergency.
Jump. Yes.
Alex says Nilla will give him the independence that MS took from him.
She can open doors. She can open the refrigerator door for me. She will be there as a companion.
Living with the disability can be lonely, but from today on, Alex will never have to struggle alone again.
If I could repay it, I don't know if I could. Yeah, all right.
He's got a friend by his side from here on out.
All right, coming up next, meet a mom who is fulfilling her childhood dream on an adventurous mission with SpaceX. Plus, a 7th grader hailed as a hero for saving a school bus full of his fellow kids when the driver lost consciousness. The reason he was the one to jump into action, we will explain after the break. It can be hard to get to work when you are watching a little one. So a library in Virginia has figured out how to combine work and play. Here's Jan Crawford.
For keeping your concentration, it's hard to beat the library.
Hello.
Especially when you have to keep your eye on your little one.
At home, it's impossible. Here, I can just get things done.
Here at the Fairfield Area Public Library near Richmond, Virginia, there's a special space for children and their parents, like kindergarten teacher Takia Woodson.
With the Crib Center, it's much, much easier. And they're close enough where I can just reach over, but I can still do what I need to do on the computer.
It's called the Work and Play Station, designed and created by 2 working moms.
I would see moms and parents and caregivers struggling, and I thought there's got to be a better way to do this.
When the library opened 4 years ago, photos quickly went viral.
All of the public libraries that I'm working on right now, every librarian is asking to have one.
This started with you thinking there has to be a better way.
It touches me, it really does. It visibly shows people that we cared.
And as working moms, they knew there was a better way.
A lot of cuteness there, Jen. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to introduce you now to an out-of-this-world mom who's making her dreams come true with a SpaceX mission. Here's CBS Dallas's Brooke Katz.
To say your mom is out of this world, you typically don't mean it literally. But for Anna Menon's kids,
they have grown up loving space. They thought for a while that our family lived in a rocket.
It's a different story.
I work as a SpaceX engineer when I'm not in training for this mission.
That mission is called Polaris Dawn. It's set to take flight this summer, and the crew expected to break records in their 5 days in orbit.
We are seeking to go to the highest Earth orbit ever flown. We are secondly seeking to perform the first commercial spacewalk, or extravehicular activity as NASA might call it, EVA. And then thirdly, seeking to test new communication technologies that we could lean upon when going to the moon and Mars someday.
So how do you train to go to space? Jumping out of planes, scuba diving, mountain climbing, even flying in fighter jets. For Anna, it's a dream come true, one that started when she was just a child in Houston.
When I was in 3rd grade, I went on a field trip to NASA where we got to experience a day in the life of both an astronaut and a flight controller in mission control. And in that moment, I fell in love with the field. I said, this is what I want to do.
And she did, first working with NASA and now with SpaceX. It's a passion that's a family project. Her husband is a NASA astronaut candidate, and they're sharing their love with both their kids.
I see them, playing rocket imaginary games on the floor in our house and talking and having shocking levels of understanding of the boosters and the engines and how it all works.
Anna says it's her family and her history with TCU that gave her the tools to shoot for the moon.
And it really provided a foundation that allowed me to pursue a career as a female in engineering and ultimately get to fly to space in this chapter.
What advice would you have to anyone who wants to embark on a mission like this?
I think my advice would be to really think about what you love and what you are good at, and use that to figure out how to inform your decisions as to how you want to contribute to this world.
She hopes her sky-high aspirations will inspire her kids and other young people to always keep reaching for the stars.
Something else that's special about this mission, the crew is also raising money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which I'm sure you know does incredible work in treating children with cancer with the goal of one day finding a cure. These are some pictures of Anna and her coworkers meeting some of the patients at one of St. Jude's global partners. A little bit more about the supermom. She does split her time between Houston and LA for training. So when she is in Houston, she gets to work from home and spend some good quality time with her 2- and 5-year-old. She'll also be taking a little token that represents TCU, and she plans to snap a picture of it in 0 gravity with the Earth in the background. Brooke Katz, CBS News, Texas.
Thank you, Brooke. That'll be a special one. All right, a 7th grader was recently hailed as a hero after he jumped into action when his school bus driver lost consciousness while driving the bus. Steve Hartman, so you know it's going to be a good one, has a story.
It was end of day for students at Carter Middle School in Warren, Michigan. But for those on bus 46 that April afternoon, it was the beginning of an unforgettable ordeal.
And all of a sudden, the brakes get slammed.
We all were just terrified and shocked.
And that's when I looked up and saw him.
7th grader Dylan Reeves had grabbed the steering wheel. Soon after, police called the boy's father and stepmother, Steve and Iretta.
Are you the parent of Dylan Reeves? And I said, yes. And I go, what do you do? And he goes, no, this is a good phone call. Your son's a hero. He stopped the bus.
Stopped the bus?
What? What?
The officer went on to explain, and security footage shows how Dylan noticed the driver was having a medical emergency and immediately sprang from his seat.
I just knew what to do in that moment. The bus was swerving off the road.
So Dylan took the wheel, hit the brake, and gained control of the situation, saving driver and students.
Someone call 911.
A true hero, no doubt. But we still had a question. Why didn't anyone else notice what was happening? Well, turns out,
Had my AirPods in.
virtually every kid
I was looking at my phone.
was on a device.
I was on my phone playing a little game.
We hear a lot about the consequences of too much screen time. But one thing I never considered until now is the loss of situational awareness. What's happening around them? And yet somehow, at least one kid on that bus instantly recognized what was happening. Any guesses as to why?
I know why, because my son does not have a cell phone.
And Steve says that's the lesson here.
What else are you going to do when you don't have a phone? You're going to look at people, you're going to notice stuff, you're going to look out the window. It's a very powerful lesson. Maybe change the world kind of lesson, I don't know.
At least a save the bus kind of lesson. And they say reason enough to hold off getting him a phone for another day.
How do you feel about that?
Whatever. My parents are old school,
But for good reason.
I guess.
Sometimes even heroes have it hard.
Nothing better than a Steve Hartman story. All right, coming up, meet a man who has always been known for his ability to make people's days. Now he's found a job that allows him to do what he does best, spread joy.
Well, I like to get hugs because it's my favorite to do.
We weren't finding a lot of meaningful employment for him. Things that he was really interested in or passionate about, and so we decided to start a company.
We now introduce you to a man with Down syndrome who at first found it hard to find meaningful employment, but now has a job that allows him to bring joy to others. Here's CBS Minnesota's Susan Elizabeth Littlefield with our story.
How about my favorite ones?
Yeah, you can grab your favorite one.
No, it's this one.
Kyle likes to stay busy, and Kyle loves people.
Well, he's just very friendly. He's got a great personality. He's very social. He's always happy. There's not a day that goes by that he's not happy and laughing, and just brings a lot of joy to our family.
And a joy to his friends. A few years back, he was voted Buffalo High School's homecoming king. His love is palpable.
Well, I like to get hugs because it's my favorite to do.
But the hugs got harder to come by when he finished his schooling.
We weren't finding a lot of meaningful employment for him, things that he was really interested in or passionate about, and so we decided to start a company called Kai's Cards. It's a greeting card company. It's meant to be able to, make people's day.
An ode to the fact that Kai regularly
gotta
makes
fold 'em.
people's days.
I know. I
His sisters come up with the designs. Each one has a nod to Kai's diagnosis of Down syndrome.
For instance, this card, it's a deconstructed logo of the Special Olympics logo.
What do you love about these cards?
When I started to do cards, it's impacting my life, and it's good for me to do cards.
That's my biggest dream, is to be able to have community for people with disabilities to come together, to be able to share in a job together and in community. I mean, that's what we all want. We want purpose when we get up in the morning.
Purpose and encouragement is something more people now have, thanks to Kyle.
Thanks to Kyle, and thank you to Kyle. That will end our show. I hope it brightened your day. I hope it lifted you up. I'm confident it did. If for some reason it didn't, those reruns, they do remain free. Just press play again. Meantime, I'm going to go find some good news.